All right, let's dive into the world of AI and software development. You ready?
Always ready to explore the cutting edge.
Today, we're tackling the big question. Is AI coming for software engineers' jobs?
Robots are coming. The robots are coming. Or are they?
Oh, that's what we're going to figure out.
Right.
Our deep dive is based on this excerpt. Which engineers are likely to be replaced first?
Oh, that title's a little ominous, isn't it?
Just a bit. But hey, we're here to unpack it. We'll explore which engineering roles might be most affected by AI.
And more importantly, WHY.
Exactly, because it's not just some far-off future, right?
Yeah.
AI is already changing how we build software.
Yeah, it's happening now, in real tangible ways.
So we hear about all these AI tools popping up,
Right.
but what are they actually doing in a developer's daily life?
Well, the source mentions a bunch that are becoming pretty standard.
Okay, like what?
Like GitHub Copilot, for one.
Right, GitHub Copilot.
That thing can actually generate code. Like, it's basically your super smart coding buddy.
A pair programmer on steroids.
Yeah, exactly. Then you've got Figma AI on the design side.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
It helps streamline UI design, makes the whole process more efficient.
Cool. So AI is writing code and designing stuff.
And that's not all.
What else?
On the back end, there are things like AWS Lambda, Kubernetes, and Terraform.
Oh yeah, infrastructure stuff.
Yeah,
I'm guessing AI is making its way into that too.
big time. These tools are changing how we manage infrastructure in the cloud.
So AI is helping write code, design interfaces, and manage all that behind-the-scenes stuff. Sounds like developers might be out of a job soon.
Well, it's tempting to think that, but it's not quite that simple.
Oh, why not?
Sure, AI is great at automating the repetitive, rule-based tasks.
Makes sense.
But it struggles with the things that make us human, you know? Those less tangible skills that are hard to code into an algorithm.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What are some of those uniquely human skills that AI just can't grasp? You know, the things that make developers irreplaceable.
Well, for starters, creativity.
Ah, yes, creative.
Think about designing a user interface. It's not just about functionality. It's got to be intuitive, enjoyable to use.
Right, it's about understanding how people interact with the software.
Exactly. And that requires a deep understanding of human behavior. AI can analyze data and follow design patterns, sure.
But it's not coming up with the next big innovative idea.
Right, that creative spark, that's still a human thing.
Got it. So creativity is one area where humans still win. What else?
Well, the source actually highlights 4 key areas. We talked about creativity, but another one is complex problem solving.
Problem solving, that's huge in software development.
It is. Developing software is rarely straightforward. You run into weird bugs, performance issues, system quirks, all kinds of stuff.
Unexpected problems that need creative solutions.
Yeah, and you need to be adaptable. AI can help by identifying patterns and suggesting fixes.
Right. Yeah.
But when you've got a truly unique, complex problem that needs some out-of-the-box thinking, AI often falls short.
It's like those moments in sci-fi movies where they're like, the robots can't handle this, we need a human.
Exactly. And then there are the softer skills that are crucial in development.
Like what?
Collaboration and communication. You're almost never building software alone. You've got to work in teams, understand what the client needs, and explain complex technical stuff in a way that everyone gets.
Yeah, the human element of teamwork.
Exactly. And AI just isn't there yet when it comes to those interpersonal dynamics.
Makes sense. So even with AI helping out with the technical stuff, you still need humans to bring it all together to make it work as a team.
You got it. And then there's the 4th area, which is getting more and more important as AI becomes more prevalent.
Which is?
Ethical decision-making.
Ah, yes. Ethics.
As software gets more complex and interconnected, there are a lot of ethical implications to consider. Data privacy, algorithmic bias, how AI impacts society as a whole.
Big questions.
Yeah, and these aren't just technical challenges. They require human judgment, a deep understanding of the bigger picture.
Okay, so it sounds like while AI is shaking things up, it's not the job apocalypse some people are worried about.
Not quite.
But that title, which engineers are likely to be replaced first? It does make you wonder.
I know, right?
Our listeners probably on the edge of their seat wanting to know which roles are most vulnerable.
Well, the source does offer some predictions based on current trends. It all comes down to what tasks are easily automated and which roles rely most heavily on those uniquely human skills we've been talking about.
Okay, so let's get into it. First up, front-end engineers.
Right.
Remind us, what do they do and how is AI impacting them?
Front-end engineers are the ones building the interfaces you interact with every day. Everything you see and touch on a website or app, they make sure it's visually appealing, easy to use, and accessible to everyone.
Right. They make the software look good and feel good to use.
Exactly. And while tools like Figma AI are starting to automate some of the basic design tasks, like suggesting layouts or color palettes, front-end development still really depends on those human-centered skills we talked about.
So AI can help with the more routine parts of design, but it can't replace the creative vision and problem-solving skills of a human designer.
Right.
I can see why front-end engineers might not be losing sleep over the robot uprising.
Yeah, maybe not just yet.
Okay, so front-end engineers are probably safe for now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's flip the script and look at the back end.
Okay, let's do it.
What do back-end engineers do, and how is AI changing their world?
Backend engineers are the ones building the infrastructure that makes websites and applications work. They're the behind-the-scenes masterminds.
Right, they handle all the complex stuff that users don't see.
Yeah, things like server-side logic, APIs, those messengers that let different parts of the software talk to each other, and databases where all the information is stored.
Okay, complex stuff.
It is, but here's where it gets interesting. AI is having a much bigger impact on the backend because, frankly, a lot of these tasks are pretty structured and pretty repetitive.
So AI is really good at those back-end tasks that follow a clear set of rules.
Exactly. And we're already seeing this happen in the real world. Tools like Terraform are being used to automate the management of cloud infrastructure.
Which used to be a really manual, time-consuming process?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
And then there are automated CI/CD pipelines, these systems that automatically test and deploy code. They're streamlining the whole development process.
So AI is taking over a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to managing infrastructure and deploying code.
Big time. And that frees up back-end engineers to focus on more high-level tasks,
Like what?
like designing more complex systems, solving those really tricky problems, the things AI can't handle yet. But it does make you wonder, right? Which engineering roles are going to be most affected by AI? And maybe sooner than we think.
That's the million-dollar question. And I think it's time to dive into those predictions. Buckle up, listener. Things are about to get interesting. So let's get to the heart of it. Which engineering roles are most likely to see big changes because of AI, and in what order?
Yeah, that's the question everyone's asking. The source actually lays out a potential sequence based on where AI development is heading right now.
Okay, so what's the sequence?
Well, they suggest that back-end engineers might be among the first to experience a pretty significant shift.
Really? It's interesting considering back-end development can be pretty complex. Why would back-end engineers be more vulnerable to automation than, say, front-end engineers?
It's all about the nature of the work, you see. Back-end development involves a lot of complexity, but many of the underlying processes are actually pretty structured, kind of repetitive even.
Give me an example.
Sure, think about optimizing database queries or configuring cloud infrastructure. Those are areas where AI can really shine. It can automate those repetitive actions, freeing up back-end engineers to focus on the bigger picture.
So it's not necessarily about AI replacing back-end engineers altogether.
Right.
It's more about changing what their work looks like.
Exactly. It's about AI augmenting their capabilities.
So imagine a back-end engineer who doesn't have to spend hours manually configuring servers or troubleshooting routine database issues.
Yeah, exactly. They can use AI tools to take care of that stuff.
And then they can focus on designing more sophisticated systems or tackling those really unique problems that require human ingenuity.
You got it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's like having an AI assistant that handles all the tedious stuff so you can focus on the more creative, strategic work.
Perfect analogy.
So, if back-end engineers are potentially first in line for this AI makeover, who's next?
Well, the source suggests that DevOps engineers might be next. Kind of ironic if you think about it.
How so?
Well, they're the ones who specialize in automation, right? They streamline the software development process.
Oh, I see. So the people who automate things are getting automated themselves.
Yeah, pretty meta, isn't it? Think about what DevOps engineers do. They set up deployment pipelines, manage infrastructure, monitor systems for performance issues.
Okay, I'm following.
And these are all areas where AI is making huge progress, automating a lot of the manual processes that DevOps engineers used to spend tons of time on.
Wow, I hadn't thought of it like that. But does this mean DevOps engineers are going to disappear completely?
No, not at all. Just like with back-end engineers, it's more about a shift in focus. As AI takes over more of the routine tasks, DevOps engineers can focus on those higher-level strategic decisions.
Give me some examples.
Sure. Optimizing the overall system architecture. implementing better security measures, ensuring smooth collaboration between development and operations teams, that kind of thing.
So AI is kind of pushing DevOps engineers towards a more strategic, leadership-oriented role.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we've got back-end engineers and DevOps engineers potentially seeing the biggest impact from AI in the near future. Who else is on this list?
Well, according to the source, QA engineers, the folks who make sure the software actually works properly, might also see some pretty big changes.
Yeah, testing can be a pretty repetitive process. Running the same test cases over and over again with small variations. I can see how AI could help with that.
Exactly. And automated testing tools are getting really sophisticated. They can run thousands of tests in a fraction of the time it would take a human. They can analyze massive amounts of data to find potential bugs and vulnerabilities that human testers might miss.
Sounds impressive. So does this mean human QA engineers are a thing of the past?
Not necessarily. While AI can handle a lot of the routine testing, there are still areas where human intuition and experience are super valuable.
Like what?
Well, think about exploratory testing. That's where a QA engineer has to think outside the box, try to break the software in unexpected ways, find those weird edge cases that automated tests might not catch. That kind of creative problem-solving approach, that's still a very human thing.
So there's still a need for that human touch, that ability to anticipate what might go wrong in ways that AI can't predict.
Exactly.
It seems like there's a recurring theme here. AI is great at tasks that are clearly defined and repeatable.
Right.
But it struggles with things that require creativity, intuition, and understanding how humans behave.
That's a great observation. And it brings us to the group that the source suggests might be the least likely to be fully automated.
Ooh, who's that?
Front-end engineers.
Now, this is where I'm really interested. Front-end development seems like it would be prime for automation. You've got AI tools that can generate code, suggest layouts, even create basic user interfaces. So why are front-end engineers seemingly less at risk?
It all goes back to those core human skills we keep talking about. Front-end engineers aren't just coding robots. They're designers, problem solvers, and advocates for the user. They need to be able to empathize with users, understand their needs, and build interfaces that are not only functional, but also enjoyable and intuitive to use.
So even though AI can help with the technical aspects of front-end development, it can't replicate that deep understanding of human behavior or the creative vision that goes into crafting a really great user experience.
Exactly. And remember, the user interface is often the first thing a person encounters when they use a piece of software. It shapes their whole perception of the product. So having that human touch involved in the design process is still really important.
Okay, so we've explored this potential order of automation, back-end engineers possibly seeing the most immediate impact, followed by DevOps engineers, then QA engineers, and finally front-end engineers who might be the least affected. At least for now.
That's right.
But I have to ask, is this a straightforward linear progression? Or are there other factors that could influence how AI shapes the future of software development?
That's a fantastic question, and it really highlights how complex this whole issue is. While this order of automation might make sense based on where we are right now, technology changes quickly. New breakthroughs could completely change the game. For example, advancements in AI could suddenly make it much better at understanding human emotions and behavior.
Right.
And that could have a huge impact on front-end development.
It's a good reminder that we're not dealing with a static situation. The relationship between AI and software development is constantly evolving. What seems like a sure thing today could be completely different tomorrow. Which brings us to the big question. What does all of this mean for the future of software engineering as a whole? Is this the end of the line for human developers? Or is there a more collaborative future where humans and AI work together?
That's the question that everyone in the tech world is trying to answer right now. And honestly, there's no easy answer. But I think it's important to remember that throughout history, new technologies have often disrupted industries, but they've also created entirely new jobs and professions.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Think about the invention of the automobile. It pretty much wiped out the horse-drawn carriage industry.
Yeah, I see your point.
But it also created countless new opportunities in manufacturing, transportation, and all sorts of related fields.
So you're saying that instead of being afraid of AI, we should think about it as a chance to redefine what it means to be a software engineer.
Exactly, to adapt to this new landscape, to evolve our skills. It's not about humans versus AI, it's about humans with AI. It's about finding ways to use the strengths of both to create something even better. And I think that's where it gets really exciting.
I like that. Instead of worrying about the robot takeover, let's explore how we can partner with AI to push the boundaries of what's possible in software development.
Absolutely. And I think a crucial part of that partnership is focusing on the skills that AI can't replicate, the things that make us uniquely human.
Like what?
Creativity, empathy, critical thinking, adaptability. Those are the skills that will set human developers apart and make sure they're still relevant in the future.
That's a really empowering message for all the software engineers out there. It's not about being replaced, it's about evolving. It's about embracing the challenges and opportunities that AI presents and using them to create a more collaborative and innovative future for software development.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored how AI is impacting software engineering, both on the front end and the back end, and we even speculated on a possible order of automation.
Right.
It seems like the main takeaway is that AI is a powerful force, but it's not necessarily about replacing us humans.
No, not at all. It's more about changing how we work.
Exactly.
I think the key is to shift our thinking. Instead of being afraid of AI, we should see it as a chance to collaborate and create new opportunities.
I like that. A more positive outlook.
Because AI is a tool, right? And like any tool, it can be used in different ways. It's up to us to guide its development and make sure it helps us, not hurts us.
I love that perspective. It's about embracing the possibilities of this human-AI partnership, figuring out how we can leverage each other's strengths. But I'm curious, what does that look like in practice? How do you actually see this collaboration working in the daily life of a software engineer?
Well, I think we're going to see a shift towards something some people are calling augmented development.
Augmented development. Interesting.
Yeah, where AI tools basically act as intelligent assistants. They take care of those repetitive, time-consuming tasks.
The stuff that takes forever.
Exactly. And that frees up human developers to focus on the things that require creativity, critical thinking, strategic decision-making, all that good stuff.
I can get behind that.
Imagine a world where you can just describe what you want to build, and the AI generates the basic code structure for you. Then you can fine-tune it, focus on the more intricate logic and user experience design.
That sounds incredibly efficient. It's like having an AI apprentice who handles the grunt work while you, the master craftsman, focus on the artistry and the innovation.
That's a great way to put it. And this isn't just some futuristic fantasy, by the way. We're already seeing this happening with tools like GitHub Copilot.
Oh yeah, the code suggestion tool.
Yeah, exactly. It can suggest code completions and even generate entire functions based on your comment.
Pretty amazing.
And as these tools become more advanced, they'll handle more complex tasks, which means human developers can work at a higher level. They don't need to get bogged down in the tiny details as much.
It's almost like AI is raising the bar for what it means to be a software engineer.
I think so, yeah.
Instead of focusing on code syntax or managing infrastructure, you can think bigger. Focus on creative problem solving and human-centered design, the things that make software truly great.
Absolutely. And this shift in focus will probably lead to new roles and specializations within software development. We might see AI architects who specialize in designing AI systems for specific development tasks, or human AI interaction specialists who focus on building smooth and intuitive interfaces between us and our AI tools.
Wow, those are some really cool possibilities. It sounds like this collaboration between humans and AI could change everything, not just how software is built, but also the types of applications and experiences we can create.
Definitely. It's an exciting time to be in tech, that's for sure.
I agree. And for anyone who's feeling a little nervous about all of this, what advice would you give them?
I would say embrace the change. Keep learning new things and focus on developing those uniquely human skills that will always be valuable.
Like what?
Things like adaptability, problem solving, communication, being open to collaboration with both humans and machines.
It's not about resisting the changes. It's about learning how to ride the wave.
Exactly.
Well said. That's a great note to end on. I want to leave our listener with one last thought to consider. We've talked about how AI might change the roles of software engineers and how software is built. But how do you think AI will change the software itself?
Interesting question.
Will we see entirely new types of applications and experiences emerge as AI becomes a bigger part of the development process? It's definitely something to think about as we enter this new era of human-AI collaboration. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.